Hi everyone, it's Linnea for LDRS Creative, and today I'm going to be showing you the new Cooler Days Collage 4x6 stamps. You guys have been absolutely loving the stack and collage stamping techniques that you've seen in the LDRS Creative craft class lives and here on the YouTube channel, and a lot of you asked for more seasonal stack and collage stamp sets. So we are so excited to bring you some new ones in this fall, winter, and holiday 2023 collection. I have some other videos that are going to be on the YouTube channel showing how to use these collage stamps with the traditional stack and collage techniques. Today I wanted to show you how you can use these collage stamp sets with an older but a goodie product from LDRS Creative, and that is the Pirouette Pattern Templates. Now these were introduced by LDRS Creative, I believe it was around 2 years ago, and these are something that I reach for time and time again because they make the most gorgeous circular and spiral patterns. So I have a piece of 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch cardstock. Usually with these templates you use a square piece of cardstock, but you can use a regular A2 piece if you want. I am just going to add some adhesive to the back of my cardstock, and I have lined it up with the 4 1/4 inch wide little notches on that template, and I've tacked that in place. Now I'm going to be creating a spiral pattern. Usually I go with the circle, but I thought a spiral would be fun. What you're going to do is take whichever overlay you want, either the circular or the spiral like you see on the screen here, and you're going to lay that over your cardstock and that base template. The little arrows on the left and right are going to line up, and I like to use my magnet to hold that in place. Then I'm going to look at my stamp set and choose what stamp I want to start with. I like to start with the smallest at the center, and then I'll work out towards larger, but you can start with large and work out towards smaller if you want to. So I'm looking at my stamp set, and I'm going to choose a little image, and I'm going to line that up on one of those spiral lines. You can see that there's almost like a spiral grid is what I'll call it. And as long as you stay between those spiral lines, you're not going to have any problem with your images overlapping. Now at first I thought that I would go with a pumpkin to start with, but that seemed to be a little bit too big. I really wanted to keep it close towards that most central point of the spiral. So once I picked out my stamp, I went ahead, I re-added everything on top just to make sure that it was just how I wanted it. And then I grabbed my tiny little, I believe it's a little acorn that I started with, and I'm going to put that right over top of one of those spiral lines. Then I'm going to ink it up. I'm going to turn my whole template, stamp, turn it again, and stamp until I have 4 done. Now you can leave it with just 4, but this spiral does allow you to have 8 different little spiral lines coming out. So I'm going to go ahead and reposition that stamp and then stamp and turn 4 more times, so I will have a circular pattern to start with of that tiny little acorn right in the middle. I'll clean my stamp and put that back on my stamp set, and then I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to choose a slightly larger image, line that up on the center of one of those spiral lines, and then I will ink and stamp and turn 4 times to get that first 4 images down. And then I'll have to reposition onto another spiral line. I just kind of pop it one over onto one of the empty lines there. And then I will stamp and turn 4 more times to complete that whole circular pattern. I'm going to keep going in this method until I have my whole pattern complete. And you'll see it starts like a circle, but as you keep going, it kind of looks more and more like a spiral. So here's my finished pattern. I have those acorns, I have some apples, some pumpkins, and some leaves. I cut them down using the A2 stitched layered card toppers, and I also have a base panel here from Craft cardstock, and I cut that with the largest die from the Delicate Stitches Scalloped Rectangles dies. I love being able to pair new LDRS Creative products with some of my previously released staple products. So once I have all that done, I wanted to show you that there are plenty of sentiments in these collage stamp sets. but I wanted to kind of bring in another new product. And these are the Thoughts of You Impression Letterpress dies. Now these are not like your typical dies. You don't want to cut these using a standard cutting platform. It will ruin your machine. You need a letterpress platform. So I am using the Spellbinders BetterPress platform since I have a Spellbinders die cutting machine. This is the platform that I'm choosing to use. I'm going to pick some of the sentiments. In fact, I ended up doing a whole bunch of them because I figured, why not? Since I have my platform out, I might as well do a whole bunch of them, and then I'll just keep the excess sentiment strips for future projects. Now this BetterPress platform has a grid right on the platform, and I am using that grid to keep the spacing so that I can cut these into individual sentiment strips. But since I'm going to be cutting this down, I don't really have to worry about making sure that they're centered or even super straight. I just really want to make sure that they are spaced out enough that I'm going to be able to cut them with my cutting machine. Once I have all my sentiments on to this BetterPress platform, I'm going to grab some LDRS Creative Hybrid inks. The LDRS Creative Hybrid inks work fabulously with these impression letterpress dies. You can use any of the inks in the LDRS Creative collection. I am using some coffee bean ink since that's going to best match the aesthetic of my card. And I am going to press these sentiments into a piece of craft cardstock that I have on my BetterPress top plate. I'll put that right onto my platform. And since my craft cardstock is thinner than a typical watercolor cardstock, which is what I would usually press these letterpress dies into, I have an extra piece of cardstock behind there for some extra, it's almost like a shim. And you can see here how gorgeous these sentiments from the Thoughts of You impression letterpress dies look. They are pressed into the cardstock. It's absolutely gorgeous. I love these letterpress dies. Here's my finished project. I hope you enjoyed all the techniques shown in this video. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye.